good to be with you this week. My name is Cumber. I'm an intuitive life guide and healer. So over the last 6 months in particular, I get asked lots of questions from lots of people about all manner of things, and my personal sessions are very much honed into connecting in with your own higher self, your intuitive self, your heart, your authentic sovereign being. After I've connected into that aspect of myself, we marry up and I listen. I listen deeply to your guidance about yourself, and then I kind of like act as a messenger, really. So a lot of my life is spent as a messenger, passing messages on, whether that's from Gaia, like I do on my energy updates each month, whether that's from the spiritual realm, whether that's from guides, all manner of interesting beings in the seen and unseen realms. And recently, the question of, should I have the vaccination? Should I not? What do we do? Has brought up a real intensity of duality within the world. And I've had a lot of people come to me asking me my opinion on it. And it's the same as always. It doesn't matter what anyone else does. It matters what you feel is right for you. So vaccinations has been a hot topic in and around my life forever, really. Once you start to delve into some of the knowledge behind what the carriers are, what goes into them, there are always risks with vaccinations. There are always things that go amiss, and there are always positivity out of it too. And it's like anything else in life. You need to do your own research so that you're happy with the outcome of that research and what you want to believe in and how it aligns with your own heart. And you know, this is actually something that's very, very easy to do, because there's such a sort of breadth of information about all of the pros and cons of any vaccination anywhere for anything. And at the end of the day, we are the ones that have to live with our own selves and our own decisions. No one else. No one else. And so in my family, some people have chosen to have it, some people have chosen not to. And it doesn't matter to me personally. I've no agenda about what other people do. It's their life, their body. It's your life, your body, your mind, your emotions, your risk factors, your belief structures, your fears, your strengths and your courage. It will be different for every single person on the planet. So the answer to this question is it's up to you. And it's really an invitation. I was asking Gaia this morning because I wanted to come in today with you, and my idea was that we'd be taking something from the energy update that we did last week and we'd be going into that in more detail. And her answer to that was sovereignty, was adulting. And it was really, really interesting because Gaia's talking about the planetary alignments at the moment with Mars and with Neptune and with various other things that are going on for this week, if you like. And it's to do with dreaming a life that you want, a world, the peacefulness of existence, whatever it is for you, into existence with the Neptune kind of energies, and to rest and to deliberate and to meditate on such matters. And then also to take action, to get on with it, to get going, which is the fire and the woo and the reds and everything else that's to do with Mars. So you've got reds and blues all around this week, and we've got dark moon and new moons. There's all sorts of different things going on regarding Gaia's sort of planetary positioning within her own way forward. But to help you this week, it's about adulting, and it's about you taking responsibility and getting in line with your own sovereign self. So there's a few ways of actually doing this, and I'd like to actually take you through it. I'd like us to take this question. For those of you that are still, deliberating whether to have the vaccination for COVID-19 or not. Many of the larger decisions in life are made by our leaders in society. So as a race of humans on an individual basis, we think we're adulting, we think we're making our decisions for ourselves, but are we really? And in what context and how much actually are we deciding for ourselves what to do? And Gaia said part of the positive thing that's arrived for humanity, I spoke last year about what are the benefits of being in lockdown for you. What have been the benefits of slowing it right down, the first lockdown? And with each lockdown people are experiencing across the world, that's changing. It's more torturous and heavy and difficult for people if they haven't actually started to ask those questions. What are the benefits to me about slowing my life right down, about making it stop and not taking anything for granted? What are the benefits of me actually being grateful for all of what I used to consider small things in my life? How much attitude of gratitude can I now manifest? Can I now think of? Can I now settle with? Can I now attune to? Because they're no longer there. It's no longer the illusion of a guarantee has been broken. We understand that was an illusion. And nothing is set for certain. It never has been. But sometimes in life, and with various leaders taking decisions on our behalf, we get lulled into we have been, haven't we, really, over the years, lulled into a routine, lulled into a way of being, and off you go, and we potter. Within that frame, or we might break out a little bit or have different ideas or do things in a different way, but majoritively the big things are taken care of. So Gaia is saying that's no longer the status quo. And what she's providing here, and with COVID and various other things, it's time for each and every human on this planet to take an adult role in their own life. So that means getting comfortable with some of the really big and small options, opportunities and questions. What is my life now about? We'll be talking about that on a YouTube video over the next week or two, because some of these big chunky questions, it's time to answer them now for ourselves. So what I'd really love to go through with you today and to give you is the way I've used for years to come to answers for myself in my own life when I need to adult. Okay, and a subject like, should I, would, the shoulda, woulda, coulda club, it's like, should I have the vaccination? Why am I having the vaccination? Is it fear driven? Am I really frightened of something? Or is it a really positive wisdom decision I'm making for myself here? Or is it out of fear? Or is it from my heart? Is the decision a yes or a no from my authentic self, from my heart? The mind decision and the emotional decision will be driven from different aspects of you. And our guidance system in life is never from the mind, and it's never from the emotions, because they change on a whim, and it can be, we can change our mind a lot, we can change our emotions a lot. The heart and the intuitive self your spirit, the one that's the whispers, the ones that you have to listen to. You really have to listen and go quiet, are the ones that guide you steady, that's always right, that never fails you and is always complete. And it brings you into a state of oneness, of awareness, of living in the now. And it works perfectly every time. It takes a while sometimes to trust that inner voice, but there is a way of accessing it. And I thought we'd go through that with you today. So let's take this subject, or you choose another subject, any question, it doesn't matter. Just have a little think about what your question is. Number one thing always is your question has to be extremely clear. If you're looking for a clear answer, you have to have a clear question. So in this case, because of our topic for YouTube today, it's, the question's going to be, is it in my highest good? You can write this down if it helps you. Is it in my highest good to have the COVID vaccine? Okay, so that's going to be the question that I'm going to be reading out to you. But if you want to replace it at a certain time with something else that's on your mind, that's more of interest to you, then you use that. Okay, so it's just beginning to snow and rain and all sorts of lovely things out here, but I'm going to carry on. So when you've got your question in mind, the first thing is you need to stop your mind questioning that question. That's when you know it's clear enough to actually take to your intuitive self. So if you're like, oh, I'm not sure about the question, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that, then the mind is still in control. The ego is trying to influence the answer already before you've even got clarity on the question. So that's not adulting. That's not taking your power. That's not listening deeply within the heart. So be really kind and generous to yourself. Don't worry about it. Take your time. Doesn't matter how long time it takes. Just get very clear on the question. And I always like to write it down. For me, when I actually write it down, I'm witnessing my own truth, and I get really clear on that. I've scrubbed out a few times around this about how we put this question together when I was linking in what was the best way of actually writing this down. And I've come to that, is it in my highest good? That means it's coming from the highest part of me. The answer's coming from the highest part, and it's going to take into consideration all sorts of different things that my mind and emotions cannot control to have the COVID vaccine. That's the question. So stopping the mind is just being very clear on your question. So we're very clear on our question. After that, you need to, what I call, drop into the heart. Now, I always like to look at it that way, because I always like to think my mind's going 10 to the dozen and my emotions are all over the place. And I like to think, oh, hang on a minute, let's take all of this energy that's going woo up here and all of this gorgeous earth energy that's coming up from the earth, and let's just meet. Let's just meet in that heart. Let's meet there and let's slow it all down. And for me, the way I do that is to take some nice deep breaths. So you might want to look up another video I've done a long time ago called the 4x4 breath. That's actually fantastic at actually allowing yourself to come out of your mind, out of your emotions, and drop into your heart. I use that one all the time. It just works for me. And we can do that together just for a moment here. It's literally picturing a square, and you breathe in for the count of 4, and you hold your breath for the count of 4, and then you breathe out for the count of 4, and then you relax into stillness for the count of 4, and then you go again. Hold, out, relax. And as I say, there's a video on that of us going through the stages and why it works so well and the benefits it gives you. I promise you, It will calm you down, and it will allow you to come out of your mind and drop into your heart. When you feel, with practice of something like that, that you've gone calmer, that you've got more clarity, and you're in a better state of mind and being, that's when you go to the next stage. It's just acknowledging that you've slowed everything down. So we've stopped our mind from whizzy-woo because we've got clear on our question. We've dropped into our heart with our 4x4 breath or something that works for you. We've slowed everything down. What actually happens as a natural consequence of slowing everything down is your awareness expands. Something wonderful is engaged when we focus within our heart. We connect in with spirit, we connect in with source, we connect in with love, we connect into the bigger aspect of ourself that's way beyond worry, that's way beyond any concern. And our awareness expands outwards into the cosmos and into Earth. But what it also does is it focuses in on the moment that we have now. We're no longer thinking of worries of yesterday and potential worries of today's decision and tomorrow. We're totally and utterly in an expansive moment of the breath and into the now. Okay, so it's just acknowledging that that's what that's doing for you. And it's when you're in that state, we have to change our state and we have to go into this state first. Only when you're in that state do you then ask the clear adult question. Okay, so I'll run through that with you again. You've stopped your mind, you've dropped into the heart, you've acknowledged everything's slowed down, you've acknowledged that your awareness has expanded, and you ask the question. Try that now with me. Is it in my highest good, say it out loud for yourself, to have the COVID vaccine? And then we listen. Just listen. Listening is being aware. That's why we need to get into a state of expanded awareness first before we ask the question. Because listening, for me, I like to do this with my eyes closed because it's got that sense out of the way. And it's just listening to what my body is telling me. You know, after I've asked that question, does my stomach drop into my boots? Do I get some anxiety and fear coming up? You know, for me, that would be a no, don't do it. You know, have I gone elevated? Have I gone more expansive? That's my yes for me. It's going to be really different for you. But over time, you start to get your body answers the question for you and lets you know through signals, if you like. You might be a visionary, so you might start to get pictures, or you might start to get colours. And different pictures and colours and scenes mean a different sort of positive answer for you or a more negative answer for you. It can come in many different ways. But whatever the answer is, the next stage is to accept it. Now, this is where the mind comes in and goes, yoo-hoo, and wants to come in, basically trying to assist. But what happens is all the things that you've done up to that point are then a waste of space. It's just allowing yourself to accept the answer that your own intuitive, authentic, sovereign self has answered. It's given you the answer. So respect yourself enough then to accept the answer, whatever it is. And then the last point is you act on it. You then act on it. You go make the appointment. And you know, if that's the answer for you, if it's been a big fat yes, you go and make the appointment and you go in then fully in tune with your heart and your body and your intuitive self. And it's going to be a fantastic outcome. the action might be not making the appointment. And again, the outcome is really fantastic for you. It's going to be a fantastic outcome. Whether we do or not actually isn't the point. The point is you've gone and you've trusted yourself. You've actually included the heart answer, the adult in you that says, yes, I'm going to ask the clear question, and whatever the answer is, I'm going to act on that. And seriously, in all seriousness, if you can do that for yourself, and maybe even tell a friend or two or members of the family, so they can actually ask for themselves and get their own answers for themselves. So we no longer are influencers of answers for people. We are enablers. I don't want to influence you here on the answer to this one. I'd just like to enable you to get these big, juicy, huge, massive answers to the massive questions of life. Okay, guys, so we'll run through that again. I'll write it down below as well. You stop. I put it down as stop, drop, slow, expand. Ask the question, very clear question that you've already got sorted before you've begun. Listen. Listen to the answer. Accept whatever it is and then act on it. And those of you who know me know I absolutely adore the snow. And I'm just going to really accept this answer as a fun and loving and graceful way to pass on this love and joy of the snow to you. Mwah! Love you lots. See you next week. Bye for now. So everyone, this is literally just half an hour later from us finishing the first part of the video. So I just really wanted to show you the change, and you know how I love my birds and I love feeding the birds, and yeah, I thought this would be a pleasant sharing. What comes to mind really strongly as I sit here sharing this with you is the fact that this morning it was really, really sunny, and some of you watching this will prefer the sun. This afternoon it's snowing. Some of you will have a preference for that. But we're not making a war of it, and we're not judging each other. We're just recognizing that we have different preferences depending on our own needs. And we're honouring each other's choices of whether somebody likes it cold or hot. It's exactly the same that's asked of us from a higher unity consciousness, fifth dimensional part of our soul that says, do not judge another. We only start to judge another's decision when we're insecure with our own. When there's something inside of us that's not quite in tune, aligned, and coming from the authentic sovereign self, there's still something within us that can be threatened. And when that's the reality, we tend to judge another's choice. So if we're in the position of having the vaccine and judging all of those that don't, or vice versa, I ask of you to use your kindness again to yourself. Go inside and check what it is that's still out of kilter within you, because it really isn't about other people. This is about you and your own energy, your own vibration, and being truly true to you. There's a lot of things going on at the moment where the truth will surface for yourself, others, and the world even more as this year progresses than ever before. And we've been on a bit of an interesting fairground ride with truth showing itself in many different ways over the last 4 or 5 years. It's just going to become the norm this year. So the more we can actually enable ourselves to really find the truth of the clarity of the question, and therefore listen with the whole of our being, what the answer is that's perfect for us, then we have no reason to judge another. Because nobody has to, you don't expect everybody to love the sun and the heat. You don't expect everybody to love the snow. You just accept that other people have differences and needs and joy in different areas of their life. So we have no need to go to war, to go to the land of complete duality with this subject or any other. Just food for thought. I'll leave you for the last minute or so. All these lovely beds in the snow. I've put some more peanuts out and sunflower heart seeds, which is some of their favourites. They really, really love that, and they use less energy to actually have that as their food. And I welcome your comments below, guys. You know, I answer every single one about your views on your own authentic self, adulting, and how you're making your way through this. Is there anything else I can assist with? Lots of love. Bye for now.